Now, the Vice-Chancellor of the Central University, Professor Kwesi Yankah, says Ghana's MPs vote against their own conscience on issues in Parliament due to fear of being blacklisted in their parties and losing their privileges. Speaking here on Monday, just yesterday, Professor Yankah said Ghana's Parliament is losing its bite, and the outcome of debate is very much obvious. Most of the time, one can tell which direction any party will toe.
There have been quite a number of, not enough, there were a few instances where members of the majority have a minority within the majority. They have come up to say that objecting or coming along with a minority in determining the outcome of a bill. We need many more of such than we do now. I think we are too sycophantic as a country, and that has nothing to do with quality. It has to do with the nature of the system. A winner takes all situation. If I don't take care and I don't vote for this particular bill, I'm going to be blacklisted within my party and I'm going to lose all the privileges. And if I'm in the minority, they are telling me I should wait till it's my turn before my viewpoint is amplified or heard.
Okay, so has that over the years, in your view, reduced the level of scrutiny and debate we see in Parliament?
I watch other parliaments, whether on the screen or elsewhere, and I would look forward to a much more intense debate based on time enough on their hands to do critical reading and understanding of budgets, of bills that are presented. I think we are losing the bite of Parliament. The outcome is very much obvious most of the time, and you know what they are going to say. And that the two merge, the two minority and majority merge on very, very few issues, sometimes having to do even with their own welfare. And I want to see that translate into critical assessment of issues regardless of party colors.
So that was yesterday. He was on the show, Professor Kwesi Yankah, sharing his thoughts on the quality of debates and even the work done by members of Parliament in Ghana's legislature today. Let's now speak to Dr. Rashid Rahman, the Executive Director at the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. He's done a lot of work monitoring the conduct of these members of Parliament. He's in Canada now attending a conference, but he's been gracious enough to speak to us this afternoon. Dr. Rahman, can I still say good afternoon to you?
Yes, it's almost afternoon here. It's still morning. It's quarter to 12.
Then I can't be granted in saying good afternoon. Okay, so we've heard from Professor Kwesi Yankah. He says the quality of debates we're seeing in Ghana's legislature is very, to put it in his own words, lacks the bite. It was much better before. We've lost it today. Is this a fair assessment of what we're seeing in Ghana's parliament?
Well, I mean, I don't know what he based his assessment on, but I think, to be fair, yes, we have some challenges with what is coming out of our parliament today.
Okay, since you've been monitoring their works and activities and also doing some work with them, what does it come down to? Is it that we're having more and more parliamentarians who do not have the intellectual ability to do this job?
No, I think to the contrary. Today we have more members of parliament who are professional, who are intellectually equipped, and so on, than, let's say, maybe 3-4 parliaments before. But what we are seeing, I think one of the biggest challenges is a structural issue that we've been dealing with as a country for some time now. You know, the constitutional provision that, if you like, fuses parliament with the executive branch. We don't have this clear separation of powers. And so you have a number of MPs recruited from parliament to be part of the executive. And that, in the first instance, weakens parliament because most of the time you have maybe if you like, some of the capable MPs are taken away from parliament. And then secondly, the effect of that is that people sit in parliament, or people actually contest to go to parliament, not because they want to be legislators by profession, but they want to use Parliament as a stepping stone. So Parliament has become, if you like I've said several times, a big waiting room for people to be called by the president, and then that compromises their capacity and the political will that they need to master in order to, let's say, stand up against the executive, criticize some of what is coming out of the presidency and so on. So that's one big challenge. The second challenge is that, we have this whole issue of, the parties having a very strong hold on members of parliament, because we don't have, as a country, a campaign finance law. We don't have public funding for political campaigns and so on. So most of the time, members of parliament rely on their parties for support and to prosecute their campaign. So in the end, it's money that determines political outcomes, and not, if you like, not maybe what people want and so on. So if somebody pays for you to go to parliament, in the end, what happens is that they would have some kind of hold on you. And then the last issue for me, observing our parliament, is that I think it comes down to everyone's integrity, everyone's professional integrity, and everyone's honesty in terms of what they go to parliament to do. So if you combine all these three factors, it certainly creates a number of challenges, and we see our parliament getting compromised in one way or the other.
But Dr. Rahman, in the analysis you do and the 3 points you raise about why we're seeing this challenge today, what looks clear is also that issue about the kinds of people who end up in parliaments, whether they're going in as a big waiting room to get appointments from the president, or the other matter of they going in because of their own interest. How do we fix this challenge? Because indeed, if it's affecting the quality of their work, it means the consequence on us passing proper laws is compromised, is it not?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that is why, we all have to keep working at it. We all have to be properly educated. If I say we all, I mean those of us who vote, we have to be properly educated, so that if, as the years go by, and unfortunately it will have to be a very long way, but as the years go by, if we signal as voters that we are not going to accept these kinds of things, then we'll begin to see some change. Because if your member of parliament goes to parliament and all he or she does is side all the time with the party and leave you, the voter and the interest of the constituent, hanging, if you send a clear message that this is unacceptable by voting the MP out, I think things will begin to change. In some countries, before the member of parliament goes to vote on any issue, they consult their constituents. And if the constituents say, no, this is not what we want, or don't vote this way, or don't vote that way, I think they listen to the constituents. And because they want to build a career, they want to stay longer in parliament and so on. Unfortunately, as a country, we are not there yet. And it has to be some time before we get there.
Okay. But Doc, much as you say this is quite a long-term project in terms of fixing the challenge, what happens between now and then? Because within this period, we'll still have people representing us to pass laws for us.
Well, what happens between now and then, I think, is that we have to continue the advocacy. And, you people have a very big role to play. You have a big microphone, and I think that you should lead the cause in terms of raising some of these issues. Because if we continue to talk about them until we get to the point where we want to get to, our politicians will be careful. They will be mindful of people's concerns and so on, as they handle our laws, as well as the
but Doc,
policies.
how about the suggestion that many have raised that isn't it also about the political parties at the vetting level of who represents them in becoming even candidates? Their competence is properly scrutinized and their job specifications are really put to the test even before they are allowed to contest.
Well, I mean, that is all fine and good. But look, we are currently doing some research for the Interparliamentary Union, that's the IPU, which brings together all the parliaments around the world. Every 2 years, they produce what is called the Global Parliamentary Report. We just finished a meeting this morning, and we looked at a lot of data. We interviewed a number of parliamentarians around the world. We looked at the data, we looked at our own work and our experiences from different parliaments around the world. And what is emerging is that the single most important, if you like, variable that makes a difference in terms of Parliament's capacity to hold the government to account is political will. And so you can give Parliament, you can have the best parliamentarian, you can give them all the tools and so on. If they don't have the political will, I think just forget it. And how to engender political will, I think, is something that everybody is grappling with at the moment. And the only single most important tool that gets parliamentarians to act and political leaders to act is when they know that they'll be punished if they do otherwise. So, I mean, the issue of skill, the issue of capacity of the people who get eventually put forward by their parties, I mean, it's all well and good, but we have to deal with this big elephant. Which is, I mean,
final question, Dr. Draman. For the interview we had with Professor Yanka, he mentioned one thing, that most of the MPs today do not read. They do not research enough. Is that an assessment that you agree with?
Yes, I think that that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. But it's not only our parliamentarians in Ghana. I mean, I think globally, you know, that is why we have research departments. That is why in many parliaments they have a legislative assistant. So that because a member of parliament is a very busy person, usually you have these groups of people who would be tasked with the responsibility of simplifying some of these materials that members of parliament are supposed to look at. So that, I mean, at the end of the day, they have a very simple document that they can look at. In the U.S., for instance, they have something they call the subway test. If you give an MP, a member of Congress, a document that is more than a page or two, I think it's not useful because they will have to, just at a quick glance, be able to understand what the key issues are in a bulky document that's before them. We are yet to get there in Ghana. We have a research department. We've been working with them to build capacity to be in a position to do this. But there's still some way to go.
Is it about finding the people who can do the research? Because indeed we have a job 600 MPs have their own offices. What's the challenge there?
Well, I mean, you have to understand that this is the job 600, they are just settling in. So we also have to give them the benefit of time. They are just settling in. Until now, most of them, all of them didn't have offices. So we'll see what happens in the next parliament.
Okay. Dr. Rashid Rahman, thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon, all the way from Canada. Even though you are there on a conference, you've been gracious enough to spend some time with us here to discuss this matter of the quality of parliamentarians we have in the country today. I just want to go for another break. When we come back, we'll bring you more here on The Pulse. Stay with us.